All right, everybody, buckle up because we're going deep on the FCS Championship.
Yeah.
And this one, folks,
Oh, yeah.
has all the makings of a classic.
Absolutely.
We are talking about a showdown between two absolute powerhouses, the undefeated #1 seed Montana State Bobcats against the 9-time champs, the North Dakota State Bison.
It's going to be a good one.
So,
A real clash of the titans here.
I mean, can you even imagine?
Yeah, these two programs are like looking in a mirror, like practically mirror images of each other when you look at them.
Let's talk about what makes this game so fascinating. I think first and foremost, this is not just some random championship matchup, right?
Right.
These teams have history.
Oh, yeah.
This is the 5th playoff meeting between these two since 2018.
5th meeting in 6 years.
Wow.
Which is incredible,
Yeah.
that level of consistent success. You know, it's a testament to the strength of both these programs.
Yeah.
You don't just stumble into the playoffs, 5 out of 6 years. It's just, it's a testament to just how good these programs are.
And here's the kicker. NDSU has won every single one of those playoff encounters.
Every single one.
So can Montana State finally break the curse?
Mm-hmm.
That's...
I think a lot of people are wondering that.
Yeah, that's a huge storyline going into this game.
No doubt a mental hurdle for Montana State going into this one.
Right.
But you can't forget they're undefeated for a reason.
Sure.
This is a very different Bobcats team
Absolutely.
than in years past.
Okay, speaking of different,
Yeah.
there's also a very interesting coaching connection here.
Oh, yeah.
Montana State's head coach, Brent Vigen,
Mm.
he was actually an NDSU coordinator
Right.
before taking the reins in Bozeman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, these programs know each other so well.
So talk about facing your mentor on the biggest stage.
Absolutely.
Right.
That just adds another whole layer of intrigue. To this matchup, Vigen knows that NDSU system
Inside and out.
inside and out. So you got to think
yeah.
he might have some tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah.
Some insights, maybe, that he can use to his advantage.
Like, what could he possibly have up his sleeve that NDSU hasn't seen before?
Exactly.
It's fascinating.
We'll have to wait and see.
Okay.
Yeah.
As if the coaching connection and the playoff history weren't enough.
Right.
Both teams' senior quarterbacks,
Oh, yeah.
Tommy Mellot for the Bobcats and Cam Miller for the Bison,
Mm-hmm.
they're playing their final college game.
Last game.
So
Yeah.
the stakes
Last chance for a championship ring.
couldn't be higher.
Yeah.
I mean, last game,
It doesn't get more dramatic than that.
senior year. Nope. Championship game.
That's what it's all about.
I mean...
And speaking of high stakes, let's talk about those betting odds.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. According to BetMGM, Montana State is actually favored by 3.5 points,
Wow.
which is,
That's got to raise some eyebrows.
I think it's surprising a lot of people,
yeah.
considering NDSU's dominance.
NDSU is a dynasty.
They are a dynasty.
They've appeared in 11 championship games since 2011
11.
and won 9 of them.
9 championships.
See them as the underdog, even against an undefeated team?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes about the respect that Montana State has earned this season.
Absolutely.
They have been dominant, especially on the ground.
Let's dive into that,
Okay.
because the Opta Analyst article that we were looking at for this, they highlighted that Montana State averages a whopping 301 rushing yards per game,
301?
the highest in the entire FCS.
Highest in the FCS.
I mean, that's insane.
And it's not just empty yards either. They have 2 1,000-yard rushers in Scudder Humphrey and Adam Jones.
Wow.
And their quarterback, Tommy Mellot, is on track for a 3rd.
I mean,
That's an incredible triple threat.
talk about an embarrassment of riches
It's unbelievable.
in the backfield.
Yeah, you don't see that very often.
No, you don't.
Especially at the FCS level.
Yeah.
To have that kind of depth and talent
It's amazing.
in the backfield is just remarkable.
It's incredible.
Really is.
It's almost unfair.
Yeah, it's almost unfair to the other teams that you're facing.
I mean, and the guys paving the way for those runs,
Oh, yeah.
their offensive line is massive.
Huge.
All 5 starters are at least 6'4"
At least.
and 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I mean, talk about a wall of beef.
Yeah, NDSU's defensive front is going to have their hands full.
Oh, absolutely. That's going to be a key matchup in this game.
For sure.
Montana State's offensive line versus NDSU's defensive line.
Right.
NDSU is known for their traditionally strong run defense.
Yes,
So
yeah.
something's got to give.
Strength against strength.
Yeah.
But what makes it even more interesting is that NDSU is typically good at limiting opposing quarterbacks' rushing yards.
Right.
But Tommy Mellott, he's a true dual threat.
Yeah, he's a problem.
He can make you pay with his arm just as easily as his legs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Containing Mellott is going to be priority #1 for NDSU.
Yeah.
They cannot let him get loose.
Right.
And another thing to keep in mind, NDSU has a particularly stingy red zone defense.
Okay.
They only allow touchdowns on 57.9% of their opponent's opportunities.
Wow.
So even if Montana State does move the ball well,
Right.
they got to finish those drives.
Yeah, getting inside the 20 is one thing.
Exactly.
But coming away with 7 points is another.
Huge difference.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit.
All right.
And talk about NDSU's offense.
Okay.
This year, it's been a bit different than what we've seen from them in the past.
Yeah, it's evolved a little bit.
Yeah.
They're still a force on the ground, no question.
Sure.
But quarterback Cam Miller is having a record-breaking season throwing the ball.
Yeah, I was blown away when I saw his stats.
Yeah, he's shattering NDSU passing records left and right.
So what's behind this shift in NDSU's offensive strategy?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with their new offensive coordinator,
Okay.
Tim Polasek.
Mm-hmm.
He's brought kind of a more modern, balanced approach
Yeah?
to the NDSU offense.
Right.
They're not afraid to air it out anymore.
Yeah.
In fact, they're averaging almost 26 more passing yards per game this season
Wow.
than any other season since 2007.
That's a significant change.
That's a huge change.
And it seems to be working.
It is. It's working.
They're still winning championships.
Exactly. They're adapting, they're evolving, and they're finding ways to win.
Yeah.
And a key part of that passing attack
Yeah.
has been the emergence of wide receiver Bryce Lance.
Okay.
He's broken an NDSU record with 16 touchdown catches this season.
Oh, wow.
He's been a huge weapon for them.
So while Montana State will need to be ready for NDSU's run game,
Right.
they can't afford to sleep on their passing attack either.
Absolutely not. This NDSU team is multidimensional.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, when you think about these two programs, Montana State and NDSU,
Mm-hmm.
they're really in a league of their own in the FCS.
I completely agree.
They are consistently at the top year after year,
Yep.
always competing for championships.
He's in the mix.
And it's not just them. You've got South Dakota State right there with them,
Right.
always in the mix.
Yep.
And then you've got Montana,
Mm-hmm.
a program with a ton of history,
Oh, yeah.
a rabid fan base.
Absolutely.
It's like a mini power conference.
It's like its own little power conference.
Within the FCS.
Within the FCS.
Yeah.
And they all have the facilities, the support, the resources
Right.
that rival some FBS schools.
Yeah. It really makes you wonder.
It does.
Wonder what. Don't leave me hanging.
Well, what if they all decided to make the jump to the FBS together?
Whoa.
What if?
You're talking about Montana State,
Yeah.
NDSU, South Dakota State,
Mm-hmm.
and Montana all moving up to the big leagues.
Think about it.
Okay.
They all have the infrastructure,
Right.
the fan support,
Yeah.
to be competitive at that level.
Yeah.
And imagine the rivalries.
Oh, my gosh.
Those games would be electric.
Okay, so let's play this out.
Okay,
Where would they even go?
right.
Which conference would take all four of them?
Well, there's been a lot of talk about the Pac-12 potentially expanding.
Right?
What if they created a new Pac-12 East division
Okay.
with these 4 schools
Right.
as the foundation?
A Pac-12 East division made up entirely of former FCS powerhouses.
It would shake things up.
Man.
Imagine those storylines.
Yeah.
The underdog FCS schools taking on the established Pac-12 giants.
I love it.
It would be must-watch TV.
Okay, but let's be realistic for a second.
Okay.
There would be challenges.
Of course there would be challenges.
Right.
The jump in competition would be huge.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be going from playing mostly FCS schools
Right.
to facing some of the best teams in the country every single week.
And recruiting would be a whole different ballgame.
Completely different.
They need to step up their game
Yeah.
to compete with those big-time FBS programs
Absolutely.
for the top recruits.
They'd have to adjust to the faster pace.
Right.
The higher level of play in the FBS.
Yeah, it wouldn't be an easy transition,
No, it wouldn't.
but I think they'd be up for the challenge.
I think so too.
And if they could pull it off,
Mm-hmm.
it would be a huge boost for those programs and for the FCS as a whole.
Absolutely. It would show that FCS schools can compete at the highest level.
Yeah.
And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe it would inspire other FCS schools to
Mhm.
make the jump as well.
Okay, so we've explored that fascinating hypothetical scenario.
We have.
But let's bring it back to the here and now.
All right.
We've got an FCS championship game to analyze.
Yes, we do.
So we talked about Montana State's terrifying rushing attack
Mm-hmm.
and NDSU's New look passing game.
Yeah.
But what are some other
Yeah.
key things to watch for in this game?
Yeah. Well, for me,
Yeah.
it goes back to that matchup we talked about earlier.
Oh,
Montana State's offensive line versus NDSU's defensive front.
right.
If Montana State's offensive line can control the line of scrimmage,
Right.
open up those holes for their running backs,
Yeah.
they're going to be tough to stop.
Yeah. But NDSU's defensive line is no pushover.
Oh, they're legit.
They're big, they're physical,
Mm-hmm.
and they've got a history of shutting down even the best rushing attacks.
Exactly. It's going to be a battle of wills in the trenches.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For sure.
And let's not forget about the quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah.
Both Tommy Mellot and Cam Miller are incredibly talented
Unbelievable talent.
and can make plays happen with both their arms and their legs.
They're both winners, too.
Yeah,
They've both led their teams to championships before.
right. It's gay.
This game could very well come down to which quarterback makes the biggest play in the biggest moment.
It really could. It's shaping up to be an instant classic.
I think so.
So,
Yeah.
with all that in mind,
Mm-hmm.
let's get down to predictions.
Right.
You're still sticking with NDFU, even though they're the underdogs.
I am.
Wow.
I am. I know Montana State has been phenomenal this season.
They have.
That rushing attack is a nightmare to defend.
It is.
But NDSU just finds ways to win these big games.
They do.
They have the experience,
They've been there.
the championship pedigree.
Mm.
And I think they'll be extra motivated to prove they're still the team to beat in the FCS.
Yeah, I can see that.
You
too,
know,
but-
plus their coach, Tim Polasek,
Right.
facing his old mentor, Brent Vigen.
Yeah,
That's always an interesting dynamic.
for sure.
You know,
Absolutely.
little extra motivation there.
There is, I'm going to go with my gut
Okay.
and stick with Montana State.
All right.
I think they've been on a mission all season.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're hungry to finally beat NDSU.
Yeah.
And I think they have the talent and the coaching to get it done.
It's going to be close.
It is going to be close, but I have to admit, you've given me some things to think about.
That's what we aim for.
I know.
Just to spark some good football conversation.
Exactly. All right, so to all of you listening out there, we've laid out the facts,
Mm-hmm.
the storylines, the matchups,
Yep.
and our predictions.
That's right.
Now we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Head over to our website or social media
Let us know.
and tell us who you think will win this epic FCS Championship showdown.
Who you got?
And while you're at it, weigh in on that thought-provoking question that we raised.
Oh, yeah.
Could these FCS powerhouses, Montana State, NDSU, South Dakota State, and Montana,
Mm-hmm.
actually thrive in the FBS?
That's a fun hypothetical.
It's a fun hypothetical to consider.
I think about.
For sure.
It really speaks to the incredible level of talent and competition at the top of the FCS.
Absolutely. All right, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the FCS Championship.
Absolutely.
Enjoy the game.
Have fun.
And we'll be back soon with more deep dives into the topics that matter to you.
We'll see you next time.